Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm going to talk a little bit about what's been going on for the past few weeks. Not only was I given a strike and I was shut down for sharing, well, I shared in a previous video what I was sharing about. I can't say certain things because that freedom is gone. That freedom is gone. But I want to share what's been going on for the past few weeks. I'll just say the video that they got me for was the various events happening in the world around us. That's right. A couple of my videos that were various events happening in the world around us, they're gone. They're taken down because apparently those events they're not allowed to be shared anymore. All right, what's been happening the past few weeks? As you know, we had a situation weeks ago, and thank goodness we got the truck fixed. They did fix it. They got it done, and we were grateful. But we went to Nana's house, and we really should have been stranded on the way back home. The battery light was blinking, and the battery was dying. It was dying. I mean, it was out of juice. Our lights were getting dimmer. We got to the house and it got a little bit stronger, but then it started going down. 2 miles down the road, the truck was shot. It was done. And so the alternator quit. We were stuck at the hotel right there for like 30, 45 minutes. Daddy called his boss, told him, and he said, well, just do what you can, buddy. See what you can do. And later, we called the mechanic, and he called a tow truck because his was down. The tow truck came to get our truck, and they took it up there. Thankfully, a guy was there at that hotel, the motel to that motel. He was there to drive us to the house so I could jumpstart the Nissan, and I brought the Nissan to Mama, and I think there's bad wiring in there, or a fuse or something has gone out, circuit some sort. That's what's going with the Nissan, because when I jumpstart it, it runs, and the heat and air conditioner, all that runs. Now, after I beat the crap out of the middle of it, I got the air conditioner and heat to the vents to work again. Got to get that fixed in the truck too, but if possible. Along with several other things, but that's not the point of this video. We, by the grace of God, we made it home. You don't think about these things till you look back on them. You really don't think about what could have been. The alternate realities, the alternative scenarios that could have taken place. Could have been a whole lot more hectic and a whole lot more worse. Could have been worse. But we were at that motel, but thankfully the guy came out of nowhere and he had this SUV, this Ford, and he drove us this Ford truck, not SUV. What am I saying? He used his Ford Taurus, and he drove us home. Made sure we jump started the Nissan, and once it started, he was like, "There, all right." And thankfully, I had to get a new phone because mine just quit. Right, days before that, I had no phone, and my father, his company was another company, just bought them out. They sold out. They sold out like a couple of weeks ago. I've told you all about that, I believe. And they just sold out, and they just up and sold to PTG. Well, suddenly, they had their meeting, their safety meeting, and I had to get another phone because I'm responsible for filing all this information and taking care of that, helping my parents out with doing all that. My father had a really hard time with computers and devices, and it's all required. You're on your own now with all this stuff. You're on your own. So I got all that done at the meeting. I helped sign up this information, and the guy there said, "Oh, you're all good. You're great. You're good to go. You all right. We got you in here." Turns out the information he filed was all incorrect. And he was typing too quickly to even really do. He was just yapping and not actually filing it properly. So then the guy that's now taken over had to refile everything. But thankfully, I had to buy a brand new phone. We had to go get a brand new phone, 5G phone. It's a Samsung Galaxy FE, S21 FE. It's a great phone as far as functionality so far. But after that, when we were at the meeting, he filed all that incorrectly. So I did a lot of the work. I recorded what they said at the meeting and all that. They had when you have a company meeting and you have what they call orientation, where you're supposed to help the employees understand the computers. Fast forward weeks later, they're doing nothing. And then finally this week, they tell all the drivers, you've got to come home. And the previous boss shut the card off that we were using to pay for his medicine. We were going to use that one more time to pay for it, and he shut it off ahead of time. I was like, well, that's lovely. But it's just been kind of crazy. It's been chaotic. But if you want to know what's been going on, that's what's been happening. Plus, YouTube messed me over, but so I wasn't able to share as all this was happening. But I thought I'd give a quick update. So the company didn't tell them squat. They just suddenly said, come on in now. So he came in. The last day he worked last week was Tuesday, so it's going to be a low check. And he had no more vacation days for that moment. So we thought, well, we'll take advantage of this time. And I had to go back to his place of work. We had to go 3 times. They had to file with Paycom. He had to file information. I had to have him sign a bunch of forms. I filled out the forms for him digitally, and I sent it through the cloud to the PTG company. And I did it through the app called Driver Pulse for truck drivers. And I filled out all of it for him. He signed it with that stylus, and I sent it in. They said they got it all. Then on Paycom, I had to help him come up with a bunch of security information, security codes, passwords, backup questions, and all that stuff. And I helped him and the boss do all that. Then I told them, are we good now? They said, yeah, we're square. Next day they said, we need your information from the what do you call it when they get the physical done? They needed all of his information, the W-2 from tax form. So we went and did the taxes, and then we went over to the Social Security Administration, and they said, we need a hard copy of your license you're not allowed in here without an appointment. Well, he doesn't have time to make an appointment. He's, got a busy schedule. So, and he didn't even know he was going to be off. So what they did, the guard was a nice guy, but he was talking about the rules and regulations. And I said, well, thankfully, when he thought he lost his license, we have a hard copy of the one that we found, and it doesn't expire for several years. So he said, that'll work. He said, you're lucky you got that because they don't allow you to do that. It's a runaround, really. He filled out the form that his boss printed for having the copy of the Social Security card. We put it in an envelope and we sent it off. And I filed digitally online to create him a Social Security account and all that stuff. And then they locked him out because the boss and I were trying to get into the account so much and get it going. And then they locked his Social Security account through April. So then he said, well, I got it. I got what we're going to do. What we're going to do is it takes 5 to 7 days to get that card. But here's the thing. The company started Sunday, today. So they needed all that information. So he said, do you have your birth certificate? Thank goodness we had it. So he scanned it through that system and they had the birth certificate. So we had all that filed. There was like 40 or 50 forms for me to file and help him file. Then fast forward to Sunday morning, I call it Sunday morning, but we left at 11:30, got ready 11:30 at night. And then we were at his place of work at 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30. And he was working with that computer I was trying to help him for an hour. And it said, select below where it says San Diego. And I'm like, there is no San Diego. So the steps that they gave on the instruction papers were incorrect for his computer. Yeah. So now he was driving, and the computer doesn't work. The computer kicks in, puts you on duty, but you can't put information in. It doesn't want to work, and it takes him 19-20 minutes to file all that information in. But here's the kicker. The company just put those computers in there and said, here, do it yourself. And there weren't a computer. He used to have Omnitrax, an actual computer with a button on it, and it had a digital keyboard. This is a cheap Samsung tablet that they gave them with a cheap charger cord that you plug to the truck. And I had to update the tablet myself, not the company. I had to go in there and do the software update myself during his supposed to be time to get going on the road, and I had to update the tablet, update the software, get it going, connect it to 4G LTE networks. Then I had to open the Omnitrax app on the tablet, and I'll tell you, it's nothing like his old driver log information. We called the boss up and he said, all right, that's it, fill it in, he said, I gave you your driver ID and username and password. Well, that worked finally. But then after it says to type the location, there is nowhere to do that. And the pre-trip inspection stuff is all messed up that you have to do for the truck. And the loading information, it starts telling a bunch of codes to type in, and it's like, well, what are those codes? And then it says, next, you're supposed to type in the location. But I looked everywhere, and there is no place for location. So I don't know. I don't know how the other drivers are doing it. I don't have any idea. But here's the thing. The company switched over, and they didn't give him any orientation. They didn't give him any instructions on how to use that computer, which is just a tablet. They did not give him any, and it dims and brightens by itself all the time, and you can't change the settings. So what kind of a professional company doesn't give you an orientation or instructions on how to use a tablet before telling you to go out on the road and do it? You have to take time to learn a new computer system, a new software. But he's like pulling his hair out trying to figure this out, and he can't do it. And he's just having to log by paper, and it's just driving him crazy. He said, I'm going to have to talk to the boss if they'll actually do it. And they said, well, call so-and-so or so-and-so or so-and-so. But it's driving him crazy, and please pray, because he needs it. He's very upset. It's just making him very, very frustrated, and I understand. The company, that was they waited till the last moment, and they acted like all was hunky-dory, and then they didn't do the right thing. Tell me, are you supposed to put a driver in a truck without teaching them how to use the computer during orientation? They didn't even have an orientation. They didn't do it. Yeah, and it was a forced switchover. So, pray for us. We need it. Much love.